I am Teacher Venice. Our lesson for today is all about phase change. So, what is phase change? A phase change is when matter changes from one state, the solid like this rock, the liquid like this water, and the gas like the air, to another. Changes occur when sufficient energy is applied to the system or a sufficient amount is lost. So to understand more about the 6 common phase changes, let's watch and hear from Teacher Christine, Teacher Nizal, and Teacher Desiree their experiments and discussions.
Good day, class! So now we're going to discuss thoroughly about solid to liquid, which is what we call melting, and liquid to solid, which is what we call freezing. So now let us first tackle about melting. So melting is a physical process that results in the phase transition of a substance from a solid to liquid. And this occurs when the internal energy of the solid increases, typically by the application of heat or pressure, which increases the substance temperature to the melting point. So the next one that we're going to discuss is freezing. Freezing is where in the process in which a liquid changes to a solid. It occurs when a liquid cools to a point at which its particles no longer have enough energy to overcome the force of attraction between them. The freezing point of a substance is the temperature at which it freezes. The freezing point of pure water is 0 degrees Celsius. So, to further understand the melting and freezing, I'm going to show you a video in where I'm going to perform on how this phase works. Class, I have an ice here, so we're going to wait a couple of minutes to turn this solid into a liquid phase. I have here our liquid, and I have a container. So I'm going to transfer a liquid into the container and freeze it into the freezer to make it a solid. So we're going to place it now. Here is our ice. So after a couple of minutes, it turns out to be a solid already. So let's take it from the container.
Hi class, now let's talk about the process of evaporation and condensation. First is the evaporation or the change of phase from liquid to gas. To gain better understanding, consider placing a cup full of water below the sun. Make a line in the water level and mark the water level every hour. We can see that the longer it is below the sun, the lower the water level becomes. This is due to the fact that water evaporates when heated. The molecules travel and vibrate so swiftly, and they escape into the atmosphere as vapor molecules. The opposite process of evaporation is condensation, or the process of changing gaseous to liquid state. To understand further, fill a cup with hot water. Take another cup and place it upside down with an ice on the top. We can observe that water droplets develop on the surface. This is because water vapor in the air loses energy and changes to a liquid when it comes into contact with cold substances.
Hello there, students! In your previous videos, you've learned already about the several changes in the states of matter, namely evaporation, condensation, melting, and freezing. So today, I am going to introduce to you another change in the state of matter, which are sublimation and deposition. So, let's start. Sublimation is how a solid becomes a gas without becoming a liquid first. It happens when the particles of a solid absorb enough energy to completely overcome the force of attraction between them. So, I have here an example. This one is an albatross. We are all familiar with this because we get to see this in our comfort rooms. So how does this display the process of sublimation? Notice that when we put this in our comfort room, as the day went by or after a month, we noticed that this albatross decreased its size. This shows that this albatross completely changed its form directly to gas without passing the liquid state. Ang galing! So the reverse of sublimation is called deposition, a process in which the gaseous substances directly change into solid state without passing the liquid state. The formation of frost is an example of deposition. I can still show you the process of deposition happening right in our homes, specifically in our refrigerator and our freezer. This is the process of deposition in which the gas trapped in the freezer turned into solid without passing the liquid state. As future teachers, given limited facilities available, may it be due to the pandemic or due to the location of the school, the steps that we would innovate to develop students' scientific knowledge and skills in laboratory techniques to maximize learning is that we would like to incorporate virtual laboratories, which are integrated as training platforms for complementing learning objectives in laboratory education. This includes physical experiments brought in with animation, simulation, and remote laboratory setups for providing skills trainings to the learners. So that would be all. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have learned something from our discussion.